Sheriff, do you wish to make a statement? Okay.
All right, good afternoon. I'm Orleans Parish Sheriff Susan Hudson. I want to make a sincere apology to the people of New Orleans. The mistaken release of Khalil Bryan was a serious error, and as sheriff, I take full responsibility. Today, July 25th, Khalil Bryan was mistakenly released from the Orleans Justice Center. The error stemmed from a clerical misidentification, where he was confused with another individual sharing a similar last name. While our systems are designed to catch these discrepancies, human error led to a breakdown in the verification process.
The same New Orleans jail facility that sparked outrage for the May 16th jailbreak is back in the headlines, but this time it wasn't inmates breaking out, it was one being let go by mistake. Welcome back to Parke Jones. Someone needs to get fired. The mistaken release of inmate Khalil Bryan is tied directly to the procedural failures that were exposed 3 months ago prior when 10 inmates broke out of their cells and escaped.
10 total inmates escaped the Orleans Parish Jail, but one has already been captured. Another inmate believed to have escaped was actually found in another cell. All of the men are accused of violent crimes. At least one of them has been convicted of and another faces a second-degree charge. New photos from inside the jail show a toilet ripped from the wall and handwritten messages saying "too easy" and "we innocent."
On July 25th, 2025, authorities confirmed that 30-year-old Khalil Bryan was mistakenly released from the New Orleans Justice Center due to a clerical error. Officials say he was confused with another inmate sharing a last name and was processed out without proper identity verification.
After Khalil Bryan was released from jail by mistake Friday, there may have been at least 3 hours from the time jail staff realized the mistake to the time the public found out. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Sharice Gibson. It's a new and really concerning bit of the timeline that we've been working to piece together of that day. Rachel Hanley joining us now in studio. Rachel, that even raises really even more questions here.
Yeah, it does. A local nonprofit tells us that it bailed out the man who was supposed to be released on Friday. When a representative called the jail late that morning, she says they told her he wasn't out because someone had been released in his place. She wants to know why it then took hours for the man whose freedom had already been paid for to get out himself. Montrell Carmouche is a senior advisor at Operation Restoration. Through a program called the Safety and Freedom Fund, the organization has paid bail for thousands of people arrested on nonviolent crimes. Thursday evening, they paid $2,000 to release a young man who was arrested earlier this month. She expected him to get out later that night, but when she called him the next morning, he didn't pick up.
We reached out to his mom. His mom said that he wasn't out yet, and that's why he wasn't answering us.
Carmouche says that was around 9:30 Friday morning. She checked his file online and it said he had been released. Then his mom called Carmouche back to say she had spoken with her son on the phone from inside the jail. At around 12:30, Carmouche went to the OJC herself.
I spoke with someone at the jail to find out why he had not been released yet, and at that time is when I learned that they had released the wrong person.
We reached out to the sheriff's office asking about the timeline of the release. They responded, as they have since Friday, saying that the incident is still under investigation.
But we still have Khalil Bryan, Rachel, who was released. What about him? Has there been any progress in finding where he is?
Well, nothing that's been made public so far, but by coincidence, he had an arraignment set for this past Monday on older charges. According to his online court file, the court called him on a number that was associated with him. A male voice picked up and then hung up.
Of course, he didn't show. All right, Rachel, thank you so much. Hopefully we'll find out where he is soon.
Bryan was originally detained on charges including possession of stolen property, drug paraphernalia, and resisting arrest, and carried outstanding warrants for aggravated assault with a firearm, domestic abuse, child endangerment, and home invasion. He also faces charges from an earlier high-speed chase where he's accused of ramming into multiple Jefferson Parish Law police vehicles. Police immediately labeled Bryan a fugitive, urging him to surrender while cautioning anyone harboring him that they could be prosecuted as well. Orleans Parish Sheriff Susan Houston issued a public apology stating this was a result of human error and promising an internal investigation with disciplinary action forthcoming.
But once again, a deputy or sheriff's office employee made an error and released Khalil Bryan, who is being held on serious and violent felony charges. Let's go to what first the sheriff had to say at the press conference, as well as Police Chief Ann Kirkpatrick.
There are controls in place, and this was definitely a human error, so we know that. The folks who were on duty will be called in to be questioned. That's going on right now. We'll find out exactly what did happen because we don't know until we talk to them. We know that there were similar last names. That's all that we know. And as soon as we find out exactly what happened, we will alert you as well.
This release did not occur under NOPD's jurisdiction, but we are a team. We are a law enforcement community that works together in partnership, and so we will remain in partnership with the rest of our law enforcement community. And I do want to make an appeal to Mr. Bryan. Even though it was a mistaken release from custody, you are on notice, you are a fugitive. I'm going to ask that you turn yourself in.
The release has amplified existing concerns surrounding the jail and Sheriff Houston's leadership. Again, just 3 months ago, 10 inmates escaped from the same Orleans jail. 9 of the inmates have been captured, while the remaining and arguably the most dangerous inmate, Derek Groves, remains on the run. Groves is so dangerous that families of his victims and prosecutors have fled the state until further notice.
Wednesday, Jamar Robinson's family celebrated his birthday.
Love you, miss you.
2 days later, they were in hiding after finding out that the man convicted of his had escaped from prison.
Just get all our family members out of the city. We had to get everyone out of the city. Didn't know where we was going. Where we was going. Crying, devastated.
Robinson and another man, Byron Jackson, were shot and on Mardi Gras in 2018. Derek Groves was arrested for the Late Friday morning, someone they knew called the family and told them that a group of inmates had broken out of Orleans Justice Center. Groves was one of them.
No one notified us. No one tell us anything. You know, we had to leave work. We didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know how Derek Groves felt like with this process of us. You know, either he was coming for us. We didn't know.
They grabbed what they could, got the family's young kids, including Robinson's son, from school. Then they left. By that time, Groves had been out for hours.
We just didn't know what to do at that point. And I'm so angry with the Orleans Parish prison because it's like, when I look at the news, I see the boys pulling on the door. Like, this prison was just recently built. And you mean to tell me the doors was that easy to pull apart?
That escape exposed massive security failures. Inmates crawling through a hole behind a removed toilet, scaling fences, and taunting guards with graffiti that read, "Too easy, LOL." A jail employee was charged with disabling the water supply to aid the breakout, and multiple staff members were suspended for allegedly facilitating or ignoring the escape.
Marshals say that Dariana Burton is the girlfriend of Orleans Parish jail escapee Derek Groves. Now, investigators say she helped Groves after the jailbreak, and she's booked for conspiracy to commit simple escape. Court records also show a woman claims she video called Burton on the day of the escape and saw her in a car with escapee Lenton Van Buren. Now, the woman says Burton eventually dropped Van Buren off at a home on Peltier Drive in New Orleans East. Burton was arrested in a different case in February 2023 when she worked at the jail. Officials say she brought a knife and a Cheetos bag full of tobacco and synthetic into the facility. The sheriff's office fired her about a year ago.
We don't know much about Khalil Bryan's personal life, but Derek Groves has a poor relationship with police based on his own criminal history, as well as losing his grandmother, Kim Groves, at the hands of corrupt NOPD officer Len Davis. All that to say, Derek Groves is not going down without a fight, and authorities are more likely to capture Khalil well before they find Derek.
Then I heard him.
She said Derek came across to her as a normal kid, despite his grandmother being by a hitman on the orders of New Orleans police officer Len Davis. Derek Groves was not yet born when his grandmother Kim was gunned down right here in front of the family home. But he remembers the site well, including times when it was used as a memorial in honor of his grandmother.
A small child like that hearing how his grandmother was by the police.
At this point, I have serious concerns about Sheriff Houston's leadership abilities. These mistakes are putting the public at serious risk. At this point, it may make sense for the state or feds to take over until deficiencies are resolved.
John and Meg, I combed through years of those compliance reports. They detail all of the ways that the federal judge is keeping tabs on the jail staff and the sheriff and making sure that they're following the rules. And on the issues of safety and security, jail monitors raised repeated flags saying, quote, they witnessed the most unsupervised jail units in recent memory once Sheriff Susan Hudson took over.
In several reports, Orleans Parish jail monitors warned Sheriff Susan Hudson for years of critical gaps in her plans to keep the jail safe and secure. The monitors release a report twice a year listing all of the ways they found the jail improving and lacking. The current consent decree was ordered during former Sheriff Marlene Gussman's tenure. By the time Hudson took office, the consent decree was about 10 years old. But Gussman says he left Hudson in good hands.
We left, as you can see on your own sheet, we were either partial or substantial compliance, and they're out of compliance in a number of areas.
This double setback, first a mass escape, then a wrongful release, shows that the issues in New Orleans go beyond mere incidents. They point to a broken system. What's most dangerous is not just the violence involved, but the erosion of public trust. When a jail can't safely contain violent offenders, or worse, let them go by accident, the entire community is at risk. So if you see Khalil Bryan or Derek Groves, reach out to the proper authorities. For any of my listeners out in New Orleans, stay safe and demand better leadership. If you are enjoying the stories we cover here on the channel, do me a favor and like, comment, subscribe, and check out the videos on the screen. I'm your host, Parke Jones, and I'll catch you on the next one.